Hi, I'm Peter Pakula, and tonight we've got Mr. Brett Cleary, who is the IGFA Oceania Regional Council Chairman. Hi, Brett. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Peter. Thanks for the opportunity to have a chat.
Yeah, look, it's very exciting, and I'm actually part of this organisation, and I think it's really important that people know that we're what we're about. And first of all, you've been in many fishing committees and still are, and you've always been active for many years. If you just want to go through some of the things that you're involved in and what you have been involved in the past, to give people some idea of why they should pay some attention to us.
Yeah, absolutely, Pete. Look, I just started fishing from a very young age, and then I suppose in my early 30s, when the family had sort of grown up a bit, I got into game fishing. And as soon as I got into game fishing, I could see some of the threats that we were coming up against, and decided to join a club. Once I joined that club, it sort of snowballed from there. Just to cut it short, I ended up being the president of the Tasmanian Game Fishing Association, of which I'm a life member now. And I then went on to become a representative for Tasmania on the Game Fishing Association of Australia. And while I was on that committee, I ended up being president of that association for a number of years. And while I was there, I met a lot of people that were like-minded, and we felt that there was a need for greater representation in Canberra. So we started the Australian Recreational Fishing Foundation, of which I ended up chairman there for a number of years. And they're probably the main roles, but I've held a lot of board positions and government positions over the last probably 15 to 20 years now, representing recreational anglers. And while I was with GFAA, I got introduced to the International Game Fishing Association, of which I'm now a trustee. And although trustees aren't directly in regions, I suppose I am the trustee for the Oceania region.
Right. Okay. Now, what the Oceania Regional Council's got a bunch of committees, and
Yeah.
what are the actual committees?
Yeah, well, there's a number of committees that are involved, and I suppose it stems from what the International Game Fishing Association was trying to achieve right back when they started in 1939. The very first representative, actually, was Clive Frith, who was the foundation member of the Game Fishing Association of Australia. So that even back at their very first meeting, they appointed a representative. And I think from up until maybe 10 or 15 years ago, the main reach of the International Game Fishing Association was through their representatives. And they're very hard-working representatives right around the world. But they felt there was a need to get a better structure around not expansion is the wrong word, but the reach into the rest of the world. So they came up, I suppose it would be about 5 years ago now, with a regional council network. And that really duplicates what happens at the main headquarters.
Right.
So the first council that was established was the European and Mediterranean Council, and that was about 5 years ago. And since then, we've established councils in Africa, Central America and the Caribbean, North America and South America, and obviously the Oceania Regional Council. And those councils have a number of representatives on them, and their roles mirror what happens at the head office, so that we're trying to achieve in our own regions what we're trying to do right around the world. So we have a conservation committee, we have an education committee, we have a development committee, and we have a rules and recognition committee. Now, the conservation and rules and recognition committees are vitally important, because the one thing that joins all anglers together is the conservation of the species, trying to protect what we're trying, the fish that we're fishing for, but more than that, not just the big marlin, but and the big pelagics, but all fish, and especially even bait fish. So conservation is vitally important. And of course, rules and recognition. It's vital that everyone, I think, fishes to a set of rules, and everyone abides by those rules. It gives everyone a sort of an equal playing field.
Yeah, and it also gives you an idea of how good a fisherman you are. You might be the best fisherman in your pond, but there's an awful lot of ponds out there. And, being members of a club, and I've said this a number of times, it's helped me become a much better fisherman, because at times when you're a young bloke, you think you're pretty bloody good, and then you're up against somebody else who just thrashes you, and you just realize, hang on, I've got a lot to learn. And the thing about being in that situation, those guys will teach you. If a guy knows something, he will teach you about it. And the mentors and all that sort of stuff in clubs and, IGFA are really fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and the other thing we're trying to achieve, because especially if we get back to the Oceania Regional Council, of which I'm chair, and thankfully you're the chair of the Education Committee, is that we have a very big region, and there's a couple of important things around that. We're very respectful of the organisations that are already established. So that you have the Game Fishing Association of Australia, you have the Sports Fishing Council in New Zealand. And there's a number of, Papua New Guinea has an established fishing group, and many of the Pacific Island nations do too. We're in no way trying to, do a takeover, try and get membership or anything like that. What we really are is we want to try and become a hub to bring everyone together, and where we can assist, because of the size of the network that IGFA has now and a worldwide group. We want to bring those resources in and do the best we can for the fishery.
So basically work with those organisations rather than against them.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we really want to partner with them. And, I can understand, you have associations like GFAA, which was established a couple of years before IGFA, one of the oldest established groups in the world, probably the oldest. And the Sports Fishing Council in New Zealand is a very big organisation and very well run. But we want to just partner with them. And we're very fortunate that currently a lot of our representatives are members of those organisations. So, we're combining the groups already, and I hope to do that more. But also, I think we have an obligation in the Oceania region to help our Pacific Island neighbours, because there's a number of countries that are under extreme threat of their fisheries resources. They don't seem, on the surface, and I'm not saying this isn't a criticism of them all, they don't seem to have the resources to defend, overfishing, very large commercial fishing, illegal fishing, high seas fishing, all of those different things. And all of those things affect us here in Australia and New Zealand and in the Oceania region. So if we can get everyone together in the Oceania Council talking, getting our information out there, picking projects that we can work on together, we'll be much stronger as a group.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, basically, hopefully people get to see this video and learn that we exist, and hopefully some people will contact us, because, the Rules Committee is only too happy to answer the question. The Education Committee, which I'm involved, is only too happy to help, and there's the Passport for Kids, which is being done to help get kids into fishing, not necessarily game fishing, but just get them away from phones and laptops and stuff. So, we've got some important stuff to do. And, when I joined the committees and stuff, I was amazed at the caliber of the people you've got involved in it. You got some of the top people in fishing already throughout the Pacific involved in this. So, we've all enjoyed our time fishing, and we certainly want to give back, and that's what most of the people want to do. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you touched on something there that I'm very passionate about, the passports to fishing kits that are readily available. We have kits available that we can send out, all free of charge. And it's basically no obligation, just teach kids to go fishing. And I think if we can do that, we can, make into the future, we can protect our sport.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much, Brett.
No problems at all, Pete. Thank you for the time.